Hello, my Richies, and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Strategy Sessions here on the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. My name is Sarah. I'm your host, and in today's episode of the Sunday Strategy Sessions, we are going to talk about the power of sharing your story. And later on in the episode, I am going to give you the opportunity to present me your story. I would love to hear from one of you and bring you on as a guest to the show to share your story about how you make your life and the life around you richer. This concept for this episode came up for me this week when I was recording with a friend I've known for a very long time. And on her show, The Anxiety Chicks, we covered anticipatory grief, anxiety, depression, and dealing with a family member having a lifelong terminal illness. This is my story. And if you're new here, Allison and I have a ton in common, namely the fact that we've both lost our fathers. I lost my father, Kurt, 5.5 years ago, and Allie lost her father 2 years ago. In this episode, which I would absolutely love for you to check out, so I will put the link in the show notes below, we kind of just honestly shared a lot about what it felt like to go through these terrible things. And although we miss our fathers deeply, there was so much catharsis happening in the sharing of what it was like for us when these things were happening that were so life-altering to us and our path and our futures and just our person, like literally everything you can think about has been shifted and changed from these traumatic experiences. And I just really honestly loved the conversation. I think you're really going to love Allie as well if you haven't listened to her podcast before. And I said I will link that in the show notes as well as her Instagram so you can check her out. She is the anxiety healer on Instagram. In sharing my story, I've been on a few podcasts and, it's typically been about business. And in the few times that it has been about just me, grief, my feelings, what I've done to work on my mindset and my self-worth, how I have used grief as a tool for growth in my life. And although I do really love talking about business and using your purpose and your passion to change the world, I really, really love talking about how people feel and talking about some of the most difficult things that happen to them because I understand at least a part of their suffering. And I understand that, with either the rug being pulled out from under them quickly or slowly, they still have a totally different foundation underneath of them. And there's a kinship and a camaraderie that comes with that kind of experience. It got me thinking how I would love to share someone's story that's ready for it. Maybe you're in a space where you feel like you're ready to tell your story of your life and what has happened to you and what you're doing with that and what you hope to do with it in the future. And if you feel like this pertains to you in any way, shape, or form, it might be something that you want to kind of think about, I really encourage you to either use the comment in the episode below, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify, and leave me a comment. And I will absolutely get back to you. Or you can feel free to email me. The link is also in the show notes for that. And I will get back to you. I'm going to choose one viewer, listener, my Richie, to be a guest. And I think we'll end up doing this quarterly or maybe even monthly. I get a ton of interviews in within a month, but we'll see how it goes. So if that excites you at all, or there's someone you'd love to nominate and you think that they might be open to the idea of it, then I'd love to hear that too. The biggest thing for me that came out of this conversation with my friend Allison that I personally received was the subtle reassurance of being seen. Grief can flip you upside down and inside out so quickly that you forget where you just were. And sometimes it takes being seen by someone else that's been there to really know that not only is everything okay, but you're doing as best as you can. And that is the best that can be done. And that is great. The acceptance of knowing that there won't always be things you can fix or change and having to navigate through those muddy waters or very turbulent waters, depending on the different times in our life. It was so freeing to have this conversation. And in a way, it's the only time I get to talk about my dad, other than with my husband and occasionally with my mom. And it saddens me that his memory and his image will begin to fade. And I do my best to keep him around. And in sharing my story and just going through it time and time again, I find a new connection or a new aha moment or a new epiphany every time that deepens my faith in knowing that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And although it literally was the worst thing that's ever happened to me, and I would trade the world to see my dad again, that is a fantasy. And the reality is that I have to learn to live with his absence. And I refuse to do it by feeling lack. I will only accept abundance and prosperity and blessings and joy and peace and pure bliss and happiness to fill up the places in my heart and my soul that just feel empty because he's not here anymore. And like on the verge of tears, I say it, and it may sound like it's coming out easy if you find yourself in a much different place in your grieving journey right now. But please know you are not alone. And I hope you take solace in knowing that I am here for you. And there are so many others like us. And the more we share our story, the more we can find those that are going through similar things. And we can get that empathy and that community and that unity and be seen in the darkest parts of ourselves that have not seen light for quite some time. If you know someone that's grieving right now and you don't know how to help them, one of the best things you can do is share your story. Even if you haven't lost someone, you can share a story of how your love for someone would make you understand even just a little bit about what they might be going through. In truth, you need to help them tell their story. Help them to feel comfortable to talk about their missing person, and help them to feel comfortable to know that you will do your best to make sure their memory stays alive between the two of you. That kindness, oh man. For friends I have that do that for me, priceless. People are so quick to forget when you've lost someone. They go on with their lives and you continue being where you are. And it takes a special few to remember that part about a person and make sure that they give it a little bit of love every time they see them. That was mainly what I wanted to get across today in today's very short Sunday strategy session. I really would love it if you would check out Allison's episode and just let me know your thoughts on that. And again, if you know someone you'd like to nominate for the show, you can do so in the comment section on Spotify. You can do it on YouTube. You can also use my email in the show notes to be able to email me. And I look forward to going through your submissions. And I cannot wait to have one of you on the show sharing your story and your journey. My Richies, it means the absolute world to me that you tune in every day. The analytics are going up and your girl cries every time. So thank you so much. It truly is a triumph to see this audience growing so quick and so far, so fast. And I'm just very thankful for your time and your attention and your love, because I can feel it. My Richies, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, filled with growth every day that feels fantastic. And as always, make life rich.